everybody, and welcome back to Photographer Life Check. I'm your host, Qurissy, and today I have my incredible photo homie, Da'Shaunae. Burr, 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 burr.
Hello, hello.
Da'Shaunae, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, darling.
This
As
is
always.
our show.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know you were English as well.
Yes, yes, I was born then, another lifetime.
Oh, in Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
In Edinburgh.
Yes, I guess so.
Beautiful. Let's start how we always start with a little photographer fit check.
Mhm.
If you would love to start us off.
Okay, I feel like I am very. If I was a yoga instructor, this is what I would wear. Um,
It's giving yogi.
yes, I'm very calm, very serene. Just
Mm-hmm.
woke up shining, beautiful. Yes.
Yes.
I made this necklace at Rocky Studios, and I wear it
Cute.
all the time. Statement. Um, this thing my partner calls a moo but it's just like a long shirt made of
Oh.
really cute fabric. Someone gave it to me. I think it was made in Mexico. And then I just
Mm-hmm.
have a little singlet and just my rings and my.
Cute. I'm loving the whole look today. You look absolutely
Thank you.
stunning.
Thank you. When
Photographer
I'm
fit
wearing
check
this, I
for
should talk
me.
like this.
Oh wait, what'd you say?
I said, when I'm wearing these, I feel like I should talk like this.
No, you should. Tap in. Tap in. Which chakra is this again? Oh, this is a heart chakra.
Yes, heart. Yep.
Come on, tap into the heart chakra.
Heart.
That's when you got to get your tone like nice and deep, like
Right?
Beyonce.
Yes.
Yes. That reminds me, I just did I don't know if you saw one of Black Image Center's like last programming in the physical space
Hmm.
was a meditation with Sarita Colette called
That's
Digital
cool.
Sunset. It was so cool. It was like a seated power yoga, some meditation. Um and Sarita was already a friend of mine, so I was just excited to join her class
Mhm.
also, but it was so impressive because she is a certified trained yogi and probably other masterful things that I can't name in the moment. But the resonance in her voice, like if you ever met her before, she's very much like, hi, hi, and once she got into the role, it was like, and then bring your eyes to, and I was like, oh,
Oh. Because it just comforts you, and it's like, yes, I can meditate and fall asleep. And be great.
yes.
Yeah.
I swear, some people did fall asleep, and I love that for them.
Same. Okay, you're
Photographer fit check for me. I got the
art
art
house.
house on
Let's
today.
go.
Ay,
I
ay,
want one.
ay. Oh my god, I want one in every color. To be honest,
Right?
I want to look like, honestly. Part of my life goal is to basically kind of look like my favorite animated characters at one point or another, and just like a cartoon, I need one in every color so I can wear the same
Yep.
outfit every day for a week.
What's your anime character? Animated character.
They change all the time. One of my favorite of all time, her name's Kaya from this video game called Kaya.
Okay.
She's a cool ass girl, like little top, big pants, crop
Cool.
top with the cargo pants, which is basically my uniform. I love little top, big pants. Like
Yes.
that's who I am. She has really pretty blue locks that she like always
Blue.
keeps in
Jump
a
on the
bun.
blue game. It
Come
changes you.
on. Exactly. And it is like that hue of blue too. Like you're channeling my girl today.
Amazing. I will play the
Yeah,
game
but she's my
after.
favorite.
That's
Girl.
cool. I haven't thought about that, but that makes sense.
Yeah, you should tap into your favorite animated character, especially if you feel like you already align with them, like how we were talking about Steven Universe earlier.
I know. I love Steven Universe. So I guess I'm tapping into Sapphire because she's
You're
blue.
tapping into Sapphire today.
I know the future. You know all that.
Yeah, and you look like you know the future today for sure.
Yep.
You're definitely giving the energy. Like if I was walking by you on the street and you just was like, "Hey, girl," and like rubbed my shoulder, I'd be like, That was telepathy right there. Like she just gave me a word. Thank you so much.
Praise be. You have blessed.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get into it. I feel like this honestly is getting to the life check of it all. For those who don't know or might be tuning in for the first time today, first of all, what a great episode to tune into for the first time.
Right?
um,
We're about to get
but
into the show.
okay. We call the show Photographer Life Check because I want to check in with all my image makers about how life is going, career is going, what today is going like. So, however you're feeling
Mhm.
and whatever you're feeling like speaking to in this moment, I'm curious, how's life feeling right now?
Life has been pretty good. I've been learning how to balance a lot of different things as far as like um, my physical routines and my health and my work routines and being like bi-coastal and like how my energy here is in LA and how my energy is when I'm back home in Cleveland.
Mm,
Yeah, like I feel like I've been pretty good at like setting every day up for the best that it can be and following that. And then even
that's
if it's
beautiful.
not, I still have like, what is it, practices in place to just like help me get grounded or centered or express my emotions if I need to. Um, Stuff like that. So pretty good. My Jason, he did I'm in, or I was in his book class. It ended yesterday. And
Right. How did the review
it was
go?
really good. It was really good. It was really beautiful to see everyone's final product and like,
Hmm.
you're watching it like you said, okay, you can go in this direction, and then giving everyone feedback, receiving feedback. It's just really beautiful experience. And Jason printed for the first time, which he said he never did. And I was like, what? You be
Whoa.
telling us to
That's
print? You got to print
right.
too.
This is so surprising.
So that was awesome for him to like include himself in our process. It was really
Yeah.
cool. So that's been amazing. But the last class, he asked us all what our internal weather conditions were. And I was like,
Mm, I like that.
okay, that's cool. My internal weather condition right now is like I feel like it's like a early morning sunrise calm.
Mm,
No
mm-hmm.
one's really outside yet. It's like you can take a walk and it's like you can just enjoy it to yourself and it's peaceful. It's like
Mm.
it's not too cold, but it's cold enough for like hoodie weather and like a scarf. Like nice, chill, cool. That's how I feel. That's my internal weather condition.
I like
It's
that.
nice.
And I
Yeah.
like that question.
Hmm.
You feel like that right now too. So it's really cool that your internal and your external are aligning because they don't always.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Which
also,
I was like, whoa,
oh,
because
yeah.
that last class he asked us, when he asked us, some people they were saying what their internal weather conditions were, and I was like, I would have never guessed. So yeah,
Yeah, that's so real.
like no. So yeah, what's your internal weather condition today?
That's also my favorite time of day.
Really?
I tend to go on morning walks with my dog, and I love it when I'm just early enough that no one else had the idea yet.
Yep.
It's like me and three granddads
Yeah.
taking our little morning stroll, and I'm like, this is so nice.
That's awesome.
Also, I typically, when it does happen, can get a picture of morning dew in the park, like on some grass or on some leaves and stuff. And I took one the other day that was like
Oh,
super,
that's
super
awesome.
beautiful. And that's also, it feels like just a happy little secret because
Yeah.
by the time everybody else is outside, it's gone.
Yep.
And I'm like, look at us. We're
Yeah.
just here together. And I love
We're
it so
up
much.
before, what is it? The early bird catches the worm.
Come on, look at us. All
But
these worms.
yep. All the morning dews.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
My internal weather condition. I feel like a partly cloudy morning.
Mm.
The drizzle is about to come.
Okay, but
You know
it's
what I'm
not very
saying?
good.
The sun is still shining. I'm feeling quite high spirited, but there's going to be a little light drizzle this morning and it'll clear out probably by noon. But it's one of those happy rains. I personally love rain.
I love rain, and I love when it's raining and the sun is out. That's so magical.
Oh, and as I've gotten older, I really reflected on because I guess I don't know if this happened, if they told you this where you from, but where I'm from, everybody was like, "Oh, that means the devil's beating his wife."
What?
It's like, why is this all of a sudden demonic? This is one of the
Oh,
most
geez,
beautiful things,
that's
girl.
deep.
I
No, I
remember
don't hear
being a
that.
kid and being like in the summertime, like that good summer rain when the sun is still out felt so good. But
Yeah,
they was like, no, the devil being his wife getting sad. And I'm like, what?
I have never in my life heard of that before.
Hey, I can't be the only one. Somebody let me know. Did y'all
Oh
hear
yeah,
this?
in the no, we don't say that in Ohio. No, crazy.
It does feel very Southern Baptist of it
Yeah.
all, which is, my upbringing.
Hmm.
So it's probably some girlies in Alabama that maybe heard it too. Maybe
Yeah.
some girlies in Mississippi.
Yeah. I hope they can laugh at it because it is ridiculous.
Okay, it's so crazy. It's like, why would you say that? Also, why would you tell a kid that? Why would this be
No,
so casual?
no, Hannah, you're ruined the rain. Oh, that's crazy.
And when did the devil get a wife? What?
I did not know this either. I thought he was lonely and
I
just
thought he was. I swear. But anyway, enough about that man. If y'all don't know, Da'Shaunae Marisa is an incredible photographer and Black archivist, which are two of my favorite things. So
yeah.
I was so excited to like really dive into your work in doing research for our episode. If y'all
Mhm.
don't know, I do research on all my guests. It's one of my favorite parts about doing this because I love image makers.
Mm.
And one thing that stood out to me about your website immediately is your homepage. So while pull this up, which by the way, for those that might not know, you can watch us because I think pretty much every episode I go through the image makers' work either like on their website, their Instagram. So if you would like to watch us do that, you can on Spotify or YouTube. So yeah, I'm about to pull it up, and one thing that stood out to me which is totally aligned with the work that you do and who you are. But also, something that I'm absolutely in love with is the fact that your homepage looks like a photo album. It
Yeah.
looks like a family archive. I was like, oh my God, this is so precious and so beautiful. And I was like, I made the cut. I'm in the family. When I saw the photo of me, I was like, oh my God.
You are. You're in the family.
I'm in the family, y'all. I'm here. I made it. If you don't know, that's me.
Yes. The first time he was surfing, which we need to go back.
We need to go back, especially we just had a really good week of like 80-degree days. We should
Yeah.
go back soon.
Seriously, I miss the ocean. So
Yeah, me
let's
too.
go.
But yes, I would love if you could just talk to us about your approach in at least this facet
Mm.
of your photography because to me it feels intentional,
Yeah.
and I love that about you because that's also just how you feel. I feel like we've also had conversations about family archives
Hmm.
knowing me likely. Can you tell the people like how this is like what at least feels like to me a symbol of like love in your work?
Ah, yeah. I think because there's so many people in my family who were like unofficial, official family photographers that just
Mm-hmm.
always had a camera and documented everything. Um, so I feel like I was always immersed in that feeling of like documenting the joy of what's happening in my life and in my family's life. And uh, I feel like there's so many moments that I live that are pure joy and awesome, and I'm like deserve to. I everything I capture, I try to capture in that feeling of like
Mm.
my favorite times as a kid were the summer. So like summer nostalgia. We're just all having a good time. We're outside. We're enjoying each other. We're enjoying our friends, and like that has just become my eternal lens, I would say.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And those are things I always look for. Those are things that make me the most happy. Whether it's like because like some of these images are me too. Like,
I loved that part too. When I saw you in it, I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. But you don't see that
yeah,
often. Like, unless
yeah,
somebody is just like a self portrait photographer, you
hmm
don't see them baked into their work like this. And I was like, that's so special.
yeah. Because yeah, it's all the same feeling for me. Like the things that I enjoy, um, I capture, and vice versa. Like if I'm immersed in this eternal summer nostalgia, then
Yeah.
I'm gonna be capturing me actually living it too. Because yeah, that's just all my life.
Would you say that's an emotional viewpoint for you? Or is that like your logical self just being like, oh no, this was just my reality. So that's how it fell into place?
Hmm. I think it is emotional, like, and always wanting to be in that state of being, or maybe just recognizing that I enjoy that state of being the most.
Mm,
Um, and because I always have a camera with me, then like I just naturally capture moments while I'm in that state of being, which I
mm,
love. Like, yeah, I like, and people talk about black joy, um, but it's really important to like have a shit ton of images of just us enjoying ourselves and like being happy and
mm-hmm,
being present and being outside. I love being outside. Um, And I love seeing other people being outside, whether that's on the grass, in their yard, or like hiking up a big ass mountain, or trying
mm-hmm.
surfing for the first time. Like all of that means so much to me, and it's a part of my core values. And yeah.
I can feel that, and I agree too. I probably end up saying this every other episode. But I love a family photo album. I love a
hmm
family archive, and I love the candidness and the sense of freedom that
hmm
I see in your work, because it does just feel like people living. And I also love the fact that everything, at least to me, on your homepage looks unposed. So it
hmm
is just, we're just living. We're in our joy. We're in our experience in that moment. And it just feels right.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm learning about your people, your family, when I'm witnessing your work. And it feels so special to me, especially as a person who's deeply inspired by Family Archive.
hmm Yeah.
Um,
Because like
that,
every time I go home to Cleveland, I look through my photo albums again, and I'm always finding new pictures that I've never seen before.
yeah,
And it's so
same.
fun. And the photos are so fun. They're so fun. Like, I saw this picture and I have it too. I'm like, every time I get my favorites and I bring them back with me.
Yeah.
There's this photo of my great grandmother just like laid out on someone's deck outside in the summer with like her leg up.
Mm,
And I'm like, wow, I've never seen my grandma like that before. But I love this image, and it's on a Polaroid. And like she's just living, and it's in the summer, and it's probably hot. And she's like, "Yep, I'm just here, relaxing." And I'm like, I love that. That's so
I
cool.
love that. I just saw a photo of my great grandma. I also just took it home. One of the last times I went home. Actually, can I show you?
Yes, show me.
Do you want to
Yep,
share
I'm gonna
yours? Okay,
show
okay,
you
okay.
photos.
Okay.
I'm gonna-
Ah, you brought the whole pile. Oh my God, yes.
I have a lot. Cause yeah, they're all in this little stack, and these are pictures I had never seen before. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh my
It's
God.
look at that.
Yes. Oh, she was
Yeah,
chilling.
see,
Yes.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
Is that in Cleveland?
I don't know where this is. I don't know if she was
Mm.
on like a vacation
And
or
look at all them woods in the back. That's
yeah, right. She must have been
beautiful.
on vacation. She got the bingo on
I
here.
know that's right.
Yeah, I'm like, grandma, love
Oh
that.
my God. I love that so much because I can't think of an image of particularly the elder women in my life where they're relaxing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And how beautiful that is. Oh my God.
Seriously.
So this is the one I got of my great grandma. I just recently put her in a frame.
Whoa.
This one
That's a
is
really
so.
cool frame.
Oh, thank you, girl. Home Goods.
That's cool. That's so
Yeah, I love
cool.
this frame.
Who's she talking to?
This one,
It's a little rotary phone.
I know, right? So I love this because it's the youngest I ever seen her.
That's cool.
She was still alive up until maybe I was like 12, 13.
Okay.
So I knew her. I saw
Mhm.
her pretty regularly. But this is from November 1968. And I was just like, I've never seen her as a young woman. Like, this is
Yeah.
crazy. And I was at my mama's house and I was like, thank you. I'm
Yep.
taking
I'm
that.
taking this. It's
Yeah.
mine now.
She's mine now. Thank you so much.
But seriously, it's so cool because you're it's like our family member, they're not looking through them as often as we gonna look through them. Are they seeing them
Exactly.
already? Are they like they doing other stuff? So I'm like, you could just slip it and be like, yes. And to have something
Right.
like with you that you cherish so much, and
Mm-hmm.
are you have you started to like scan and like digitally archive everything?
Girl, so I'm just honestly a little pat on my shoulder to me
Yeah.
because I did not realize I was archiving my family's work probably as early as like 13 or 14.
Oh, nice. That's
I
cool.
was scanning our photos since around then because I wanted them. I wanted to post them like on MySpace and stuff like that. So I just started scanning them. So back then, I would start scanning them because I'd want them as like my screensavers, or I would like try to put them on my phone and stuff like
What?
that. So I've been doing this low
Ahead
key.
of the
I've
curve.
girl, I've been doing it for a minute. I have not scanned like these most recent ones I got. I brought back like a small little stack like yours.
Mhm.
I haven't scanned those, but I do have some of our archive scanned.
Okay, cool. That's cool. I love that you've been doing this since the MySpace era.
Girl,
Like,
I was like, oh my God, I really been about this photography shit. Like
yeah,
it's in me, baby. It's in
right.
me. My goodness, makes me think about your project No Mother is an Island,
Hmm.
which I saw for your exhibit. It actually said No Woman is an Island,
Yep, I changed.
which led me down a little rabbit hole. And I'm curious if I did too much. Because I was like, I wonder what this means. So I want to tell you what I found, and then you
Okay.
tell me the real reasoning.
Okay.
So I found a couple songs called No Woman is an Island.
Mm.
And I also read that that was a derivative of this old quote by this guy named John Donne or John Dune, from his meditation in a book called, or excuse me, the meditation is called Devotions Upon Emergent Occasions, Meditation 17. And there's a famous line in there that says, No man is an island entire of itself, which I think is a really beautiful bar, which is also kind of stripped from Romans 14:7 through 9, King James Version, which says, For none of us liveth to himself, and no man dieth to himself. For whether we live unto the Lord, and whether we die unto the Lord. And it felt like there was this like paper trail, of all of these little pieces that led to the first woman to say, No woman is an island.
Hmm.
And I was curious if this was your trajectory in finding this, or if this is something that it had a whole nother life of itself.
I love your in-depth research because it is very valid. So I grew up Christian,
Mm-hmm.
and my mother would say that often, like no man is an island unto himself, like,
Mm.
and that was just something that I heard over again, and I always took it as like you, I guess in the religious sense, you can only do so much by yourself, but you still need a community, people, or God to like help you. help you. You can't
Mhm.
do everything or live on your own and just like be in this state of isolation. Um, and then as I'm experiencing my mom and her passing, and then making this project, I decided to name it. The first one was No Woman is an Island. And then I changed it to No Mother is an Island, uh,
Mm.
because towards, not towards the end of her life, um, but throughout my mom's life, there were periods of isolation for her, and like separating herself from her community, separating herself from the people that loved her. And so because I was her kid, then I also became isolated in a way.
Mhm.
And then
Are
towards
you an
the
only
end,
child?
no, I have a younger brother.
Okay.
So it was me, my younger brother, and my mom, because both of our dads weren't in the picture.
Mhm.
And as she was declining from her illness, it's like she still wanted to retain that isolation in a way, but it wasn't, there wasn't, it wasn't possible. So the reverse of that happened, and then the community and the love and all the things came back in. Um, and then you pass on, and technically you die on your own, but not when you have your people around you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I really appreciate that backstory and also you just being open to share. I'm going to
Hmm.
bring up this project also. It's so, so beautiful.
Thank you.
And in witnessing this project, I think it's also one of the first projects I've seen of yours, like when we, around the time we first met.
Hmm.
And um, one thing that I think mm, maybe I tussle with, tussle feels like a strong word, but it might be a tussling,
Yeah,
is
that was.
the thing that I feel is that once it's all said and done, all we are is a memory and hopefully a photograph. And that's all that is left. And I think it both strengthens and weakens me, like this belief of mine.
Hmm.
And through this project, I was challenged because I watched you also turn her into art. And I was like, maybe we're more than just a memory and a photograph. Maybe we can be art too, and all these other things. And I absolutely fell in love and felt quite emotional. So I would love to share this project.
Yeah,
Um, I really appreciate this approach
thank you.
onto memorializing anyone in your life, but especially your mother. And I feel like you explaining the trajectory of like isolation to community back to isolation, but surrounded by community kind
Hmm.
of feels like what this project looks like to me.
Hmm.
Having these little mementos of things you wrote and things that she wrote was just so intimate. And I felt kind of like really immersed in your life in this moment. And girl, it was just so powerful. I was like on the brink of tears. It's just such a beautiful,
Cry.
I think, testimony. I love this project so bad.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It was my whole life up until before I moved here. So uh, it was yeah, that is the majority of how my life was,
Hmm.
and figuring out a way to channel my emotions, and through my experience into the medium that I love, that is heavily inspired by my mom, because she's the one that gave
Hmm.
me my first camera.
Hey, shout out to mom for that.
Right? Yes, I still have pictures that I took on the little Kodak disposable that in kindergarten, like kindergarten.
Really?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
gonna
that's
post
so
it too.
beautiful.
But yeah, there's a photo of me in kindergarten class, and I gave my camera to a friend that was like sitting on the desk behind me, and they snapped a picture, and I was like, "What?" So yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I wish I still had my first photo that I ever took. I don't know. My mom might have it.
Yeah, you can look. Cause yeah, my mom,
Yeah.
she kept so many. She kept everything. Like I have my baby quilts and my little baby shoes.
Mm-hmm.
uh, I still have my first ultrasound. Like she documented like
Oh.
everything. So I'm really blessed to have so much to work with and so much to go back to
Yeah.
every time I'm home. Um, yeah,
Do you think becoming an archivist was natural because you come from a woman who kept everything?
easy because I just watched her how she kept everything, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is what you do. This is how if this means something to you, you can keep it. You don't have to throw out everything. Um,
Yeah.
you don't have to throw out anything.
I'm curious around, I don't know which project came first,
Mm.
but I noticed the collaging and the flowers are here. Was this project how you began to like play with those mediums, or how did those come a part of your practice?
Yes. So this first collage of my mom in the pink, that was the birth of the Ephemeral Roots project before I even knew it. But I
Wow.
did that because my mom passed away in 2020. We didn't have everything was like sudden. We didn't have any money for like a proper funeral, and
Hmm.
so we cremated her. And so because of the feelings that I was feeling around how it happened, and um, not having like a proper funeral, and like just being like, okay, I thought it would be like this, but
Mm,
it wasn't like this. How can I still honor my mom in the way that I want to? So I picked an image of her when she was a kid, and I did that because I wanted to find an image of her before I felt like she was consumed or changed by the world.
hmm.
And then I had a friend make, or I didn't have her make, but she made a beautiful bouquet for me for her memorial service. And then I used those flowers to make this collage as they were like dying, like drying out. And that just felt right to me
Hmm.
to honor her in that way. And there's a, I feel like it was very therapeutic. It was really, it felt right. It just made sense. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's how that, all of that floral collage work started through her.
And then how about these types of collages where you placed, I'm assuming her writing
Hmm.
over some of these images?
Hmm. Yes. So with archiving all of me and my brother's life as kids, my mom kept all of her journals, a lot of her dream
Which
journal.
is incredible. Like
Yes.
I can't believe you have that. That's
Yeah,
so
it's
beautiful.
really it's amazing. And like sometimes she would write on note cards, and she always talked about like writing her dreams down and like sharing the importance to us about like of your dreams and like the meaning of your dreams, and like to remember your dreams, you write them down. So I'm a pro at that now. Like I could dream like I can remember like 6 to 10 dreams a night. When I wake up, I'm like,
Wow.
this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. That's because I've been practicing since I was a kid.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, but I feel like there was so much that I didn't know about my mom as well, and for me to get that piece, I had to look
Mm,
through her journals and see what she was saying to herself, what was in her mind, what she was praying about, what she was dreaming about, and that
mhm.
helped me um, contextualize some of the experiences that I had, some of the things we didn't necessarily talk about that much, um, and then find the right words that were her words over um, the images that I made to express my experience and just like
Mm-hmm.
combine both of our experiences after the fact.
Yeah, that does feel like a very special type of like joining of lives.
Hmm.
And that also feels like an incredible way to memorialize and also like help yourself
Hmm.
grieve.
Yeah, because it's a
Like,
process.
yeah.
Such a process.
And it's
Um,
not linear.
no, not at all. Not at all. I feel pretty good where I am now, but it's like you
Mhm.
never know what pops up or how you'll feel or what will trigger you, and like I think it's really important to channel whatever feelings through creativity, and in
Mhm.
my case through art. Like every form of artwork that I channel through is influenced by my life and by my mom in particular. So, yeah.
Now, with flowers, and like you touched on, like you didn't even know you were making ephemeral roots yet. It kind
Hmm.
of just fell into the practice from No Mother is an Island. You find yourself doing this with other folks. Did you? I know, at least for folks who might not know, that you even use old photos of folks you don't know.
Hmm.
I know you've gone to like thrift stores and just like found really photos that I imagine spoke to you, and
Hmm.
then you get to like play and collage with them with flowers.
Yeah.
Um, is that how it started though? Did you start with other family members or people that you knew?
Yes.
Are
Hmm.
these
Yeah.
people that you know?
So I think not everyone here, but the first couple people here. So like that first image of the young boy, that
Mm-hmm.
is my mother's father, my grandfather Donnie.
Oh, as a
Uh, yeah, as
baby.
a little kid, but I just love that, and it's on my fridge now. I love
Oh.
that portrait of him because he just looked like a grown man having his
Like, what
own,
is he doing with his hat?
yeah,
Like,
and experiences. But that was in like the '60s, so everybody dressed like that, you know.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, I with the beautiful archive that I had left to me, and my own fascination of like digging through and like I'm like, oh, who's this grandma? Who is this? And then like she tells me, and I'm like, that's cool. Like all these people's lives turned into me. And
Girl.
I want to do something that honors them and honors their experience. Now, these people here are
Mm-hmm.
thrift thrift found images,
Mm-hmm.
because I have a great disdain for the idea of erasure and
Mm.
erasing Black people, people of color, people's histories, people's culture, like all of that. And at first, the idea of like finding all these beautiful images of people who look like me at a thrift store was sad because I'm like, why? Like, my family, I have all of this. Like, why would anyone want to give up their memories, their like to someone random to just like buy them? And
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes it's thrift store owners that don't look like us. So like, I'm buying these images back from them, and I'm like, why the fuck? You should just give them to me.
Right?
Like
These are
you're
literally
still
my
making,
cousins. Like,
I know, like you're still making money off of. I don't like it. Um, but it's been beautiful to rediscover these people and figure out like I don't know what their stories are, but I can
mm-hmm.
make up their story or I can do some research and like maybe find something about them, and honor them in the way that feels natural because everyone returns back to the earth. Um, and flowers, I'm so connected to flowers. Flowers feel so magical and ethereal to me.
Mm,
There's this quote somewhere where it's like flowers are like the cheerleaders of the world, like they make everyone happy
I like
all the
that.
time. Um, and I love memorializing people with flowers, and that's just such a ancient like death burial practice. Like I don't know where that started, but so many cultures put flowers on people's deathbeds. So like
Mhm.
this recurring theme of like, okay, you're going back to the earth, you're going back to wherever, I will give you flowers for your
Mhm.
life or give you flowers. I don't know, but it makes sense in my brain.
It makes sense to me too, and it feels like your approach feels like both an ancient practice and a new take on it, because not only are you giving them flowers, but you're almost like dressing them in
Yeah.
flowers,
Hmm.
and that feels really beautiful. So much so that I'm like, damn, like I wish they could see this. I wish they
Yeah.
got the opportunity to see themselves like this.
Hmm.
Especially
But
when
I
you
feel like that.
do
Like
this.
when
Yeah.
I feel like when they're telling me how they want to be dressed. Like
Oh, I love that.
I'm not picking their flowers. They're like, yeah, I want to look like this, and I want these petals, and I want these colors, and I'm like, yep, and it makes sense for them because that's what they want.
Come on. See, that's why you look like this today. You tapped in for real, Da'Shaunae. Like, that's so spiritual and beautiful.
Yeah, like I feel like that, and especially when it comes to, I feel like it really softens images.
Mm.
We see so many images of us that are really harsh and like not favorable. Um, and using flowers to just like soften people,
Mm.
and taking a guy who looks really tough and just dressing him in a bunch of flowers, like immediately changes what you feel and think about that person in the image, even though you have no idea who they are, but just going off of that one image. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, that one element just changes the narrative.
I'm curious about the way in which you are motivated into your work. For example, you just said that it feels like the people in these images are speaking to you about the flowers that they want. Earlier, you mentioned grief as an art practice.
Hmm.
And to me, in viewing these projects and others, you do feel quite motivated by grief. And I could be projecting, so please
Hmm.
correct me if I'm wrong. But I would love, if you're comfortable, could you talk a little bit more about your relationship to grief and maybe how else it might inform your work?
Hmm.
While I rub my nose, I promise I'm not sick.
I mean, like, you can't get me sick over the computer.
Right,
If you
right. Like
are,
I'm worried the germs are transforming. Like,
it's okay. They're gonna come through the mic.
right.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say I'm motivated by grief in everything, um, but I there are key things that motivate me in
Hmm.
general. If it's in photography and out of photography, like in my life, um, and one that is living the best life possible
Period.
through joy, which I in love, which I think are like the highest emotions and experiences that you can have. But in the absence of that, and figuring out what caused it, and like how did we get here, and like questioning, um, I'm always trying to figure out, well, yeah, how did this happen and why did it happen, and do my research collectively and individually if it's just like a one person based. But I think everything is connected.
Hmm.
So I always want to draw those connections. Um, I think death is something that has been a really big theme in my life. Like, I've experienced a lot of people dying, and people really close to me, like my mom, where I don't feel afraid of it like the majority of the population feels like
Hmm.
they are, and like running away from this thing that's inevitable. Okay, well, what happens when you turn to it and you embrace it? Then you have this whole different perspective, um, and you recognize that it's not something that's scary. It's not something that you should be running away from. But like, how can you honor people's lives and their experiences and
Hmm.
still feel the emotions that you feel when you're going through it? Because yeah, grief is not, there's no one path or one whatever. Um, I decided to channel my grief through my photography because that I didn't really know what else to do. Um, and I had a mentor at the time that was like, you should really document this. Like,
Mm.
I think regardless of like where it ends up or what happens, like I think it'd be really good for you, and I think you're gonna cherish the photos that you have from this time, even though it is pretty painful. Um, and it helped a lot. And then if I can share my experiences, which is a very universal experience, like I was unfortunate in the fact that I lost my mom early, but
Mhm.
fortunate in the way that I can be ahead in like helping other people who will lose their parents at some point
Mhm.
in time and be like, it's scary, but you got this. And like,
Yeah.
it is a part of life, and it is something that you can prepare for and embrace and like help them, like be a guide for them, whoever is the person that's dealing with it and going through it, because um, it's harder for them than it is for you. And like, figure out ways to get your emotions out. You know, they can't be
Yeah.
creative. They don't have to be creative. It could just be you having more conversations and like talking to yourself about how you feel. Um, but I think finding a good way to channel that is important. And yeah, mine just happens to be art.
I'm kind of that felt very grounding, I think. I think a lot about death,
Hmm.
and
It's
I'm
everywhere.
still, yeah, it's
Right.
everywhere, and it's like, how can you not? I
Hmm.
feel like I've also experienced quite a few deaths in my life,
Hmm.
and from my perspective, a little too young.
Yeah.
And where I am in life, I still am afraid to die. But the
Hmm.
things that I think about, um, is like, man, I'm so curious about the other practices. Like I think about folks in Louisiana who have is it called the second line? Like during
Mm.
their funerals, like their
Okay.
funeral procession is folks carrying the casket down the street and
Mm.
everybody's
Yep.
dancing and playing music and
Yeah.
things like that. And I'm like, I'm so curious if I would feel better about death if that was my experience. Like if I
Yeah.
knew that it was more of a celebration. And I mean, in my family practice, we of course do like the repast afterward, and everybody is basically kikiing. Like even when it's a devastating moment, like we all got like the one cousin, the one friend, the one uncle, somebody that's gonna crack all the jokes. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Bring some light to the moment, and I appreciate that. And it is a very necessary aspect
Hmm.
in the process of grief. And I love that that's even like an archetype for many of us.
Hmm.
But I think about other like death practices, and I'm very fascinated by them because I feel like more of them than not are a
Yeah.
lot more celebratory.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and it's
You know,
like,
I feel like the idea of us mourning someone's life is selfish in a way, and it sucks because it's like you're just focusing on the fact that they died. You're not focusing on the whole life that they've got to live.
mm-hmm,
And yeah, I don't want people to be sad. Like I get it because you feel like you're losing me, but
mm-hmm,
that only comes if you don't feel like there's a way to connect with me afterwards. And like
mm-hmm,
that goes into like, what are your beliefs and like where do you think you go when you die? Do you think you're just nothingness, or do you think that I'll still be able to talk to you and send you messages and be like hope, like not hope, but like hold you and like surround you, not in
yeah.
this physical form. There's a You should watch Midnight Gospel. There's an episode on death that I think you'll find really fascinating.
Oh, I know this show. I love this show. I
Yeah,
love this
it's
show. I love this
really
show.
good.
I
It's so
bawled.
good.
I love this show.
It's so good because yeah,
The
it
one
talks
with his
about
mom?
yes, yep,
Yes.
mom,
Oh,
yep. And his mom is deaf in that episode.
Yeah.
She's talking to him and he's talking to her. And I think that's so beautiful. But it also comes to like getting away from our ancient practices and like into capitalism, because embalming and like taking the body away is not an old practice. It's
Mhm.
really new, and it's new to America and in other countries and other cultures. I don't know where it is, but I learned this a while ago. Where if someone passes, they keep their body in the house, in the home. And,
Yeah.
like people can like sit with them and just bring them flowers there, and it's like you have a lot longer to sit with the fact that this person has passed than them dying. They take the body away, you bury it, and it's just this, but you still have all these emotions to feel, and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I have a lot of feelings about being buried anyway,
mhm,
because to me it feels like a very disconnected thing, because this
yeah,
isn't even land that I know. I
yeah,
like, even if you do get the plot, or excuse me, let me just speak for myself, even if I get the plot next to my family or something, it's still like I don't ever be here. I don't know this place. Like, why wouldn't I be in my backyard,
yeah,
or why
exactly.
wouldn't I be in the ocean, like
Mm,
places that I knew and wanted to go to while I lived.
yep,
So I think, on a spiritual level, way more closer to the practices of like maybe more ancient peoples than the practices of my people right now,
yeah, it's,
girl. But within that, I'm curious,
mhm.
what flower would you want people to decorate photos of you with?
I honestly, any purple flower. I love purple flowers. I
Purple
love.
flowers?
There's a think. See, I'm not scientifically versed on the names of flowers.
Neither am I, girl.
But and I'm like, I have flowers next to me. But I also love daisies. Daisies aren't purple, but I love daisies. I love a daisy. I love a dahlia. Like big,
Mm,
fluffy ones are really cute. Also love sunflowers
me
too.
too.
Um, and cornflowers. Cornflowers are the ones that are like really um, like red and orange, and they dry perfectly. So they kind of like splay out like a
Ooh. I'm Googling them as you say,
yeah.
and I'm like, oh my God, I do
Yes,
love dahlias. Dahlias are
dahlias
fire.
are gorgeous.
Cornflowers are gorgeous. This
Yes,
is
they
crazy.
are. They're really beautiful.
Oh, I see why they call them cornflowers. They
Yeah.
kind of grow like a little
Hmm.
corn on the cob. That's so
Yeah.
cute.
So I'm like, I love those. And then you just sprinkle in a little bit of purple flowers, like some lavender, right? So
I do love seeing a purple flower. It feels like a magical little secret.
yeah.
I think I heard somewhere that purple is the color you can least find in nature. Like, it's
Yes,
the rarest color
it
in
is.
nature.
It used to
So
be
when I see it, it's like, oh, hey girl,
yes,
oh my God.
magic.
For real. I'd be like, wow.
Right? So magic. Yeah. There's so many beautiful, beautiful species of flowers on this planet. So
Hmm.
I'm like, yeah. Like when it super bloomed the first time in California, I went
Hmm.
out there 3 times just to see it.
I know that's right. I did one super bloom.
Mm. So it's so magical. Like,
Yeah, and it's just
yeah,
like rolling hills of just going and going. It feels
yes,
like it never stops.
yes.
It's
I never
gorgeous.
wanted to end.
Yes, I love it too.
Yeah, you're a flower fairy.
I hope this makes people want to go touch some grass. Just go
Yeah,
put your
go
toes in the
ground
earth real
yourself.
quick.
Be outside. Go
Go
dunk
be
in the
outside.
ocean, which I need to do. I miss the ocean.
Me too.
Yeah, I would love to be in the water. So if you want to surf, swim,
I'm hella down. I
yeah,
need, holla at me next week. Then I'll be
surf,
ready.
bro.
Okay, so the beautiful thing about almost all of your work is how tied together they are. This is making me think about blended generations.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna pull that up. I would love if you could talk about how you even came to this project. Oh, excuse me, Generations Blended.
Yep. Okay. So the first part of this came, which is those top four images.
Please
Um,
hear.
I one picture does not speak 1,000 words. Like, I think people be saying that, but I don't think it's necessarily true. And I really wanted to show a range of emotions and like a more accurate depiction of a person. And in this case, is a group of people who have all experienced the same thing, which
Mm,
is death, and the death of my mom, because that's my grandma, my grandpa, and my uncle. Um, so yes, those three people, and you can click on them too, like if you want to make them bigger. But yeah, I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit these people down that I know and love, and I'm gonna take. I took a lot of photographs of them
mm-hmm.
over a long period of time, um, in just capturing a wide range of emotions, so I could put this full picture together of what I think their experience is, not just one moment of their experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you take these group of people who have all have the shared experience, and then you mix their experiences together because we all went through the same thing, what does that look like? Um, and that's what that collage was for me. And adapting it to the second rendition, which is where the Rubik's Cube came into play,
Yes.
um, it was like, okay, keeping the same theme of like photographing a group of people who all have the same experiences, most likely family. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know exactly where the Rubik's Cube, like the moment the Rubik's Cube popped up, but
But it
I've
makes a lot
always,
of sense.
yeah, exactly, right? I've always been fascinated with a Rubik's Cube. I could never solve it for so long, and it would make me frustrated. Like, there are little kids solving this Rubik's Cube in like 60 seconds.
Yeah.
I should be able to solve this thing. Um, and doing my research, I learned that the guy who created it, he didn't even know how to solve it. He had to teach himself how to solve the Rubik's Cube when he made it, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But because I love everything, makes sense in my brain, and everything is connected. So
Yeah.
let me connect the dots. Um, I asked myself, how, what is the best medium to show what it means to be a family, what it means to be an individual within a family, um, that's tied together, but also like the complexity of like having to work with each other, having to share so many things, having to still maintain your identity. And the Rubik's Cube just made sense. Like, it makes so much sense. Like, when
Mm-hmm.
it's not solved and everyone is like intertwined and with each other, um, which I feel like is what the majority of family experiences are. Like, you come together, like you have, there's just all these complex experiences that you have, but you're also like bounded by blood because you come from each other.
Yeah.
But you're still your own individual that's a part of that group. And when you solve it, then everyone, you can clearly see everyone on their own, but they're still on the cube.
Com- yeah, completely connected.
And you can't, like, the thing with solving a Rubik's Cube, people try to do it side by side,
Mm-hmm.
which I feel like also ties to like isolation and like uh, being self centered and like want to do things on your own. But you can't. You have to do it row by row, which means that everyone has to work together, and then that's how you complete it.
I think it's also interesting that, like, it makes me think about family issues
Mm-hmm.
and that a Rubik's Cube is a thing to be solved. And it's
Yep.
like, you, how quickly can you solve it is like the name of the game now. And
Yeah.
that solving this family archive isn't exactly that,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like it's really just all these pieces together making one whole.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I think that's just kind of interesting that those two very separate ideas would connect in a project like this.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, really beautiful and
Yeah.
fascinating to me.
Yeah. Right. Thank you. I'm like,
Yeah.
this makes sense.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I love the idea of putting. Yeah, I feel like the only way to convey the complexity of the situation is by making it a puzzle, because life is a puzzle, families are puzzles, like yourself is a puzzle, like you're trying to figure things
Hmm.
out, trying to figure your family out, you're trying to figure life out. There's a lot to figure out.
There's so much to figure out.
Seriously.
Earlier, you mentioned like you were always asking the questions like why, how, and
Hmm.
like trying to figure out your own family things. And I talk to my therapist about it a lot because I am also a very curious gal
Hmm.
and always thinking.
Yes, as you
Um,
should.
and I am always thinking about whys and hows.
Hmm.
And it's interesting the way, at least in my life, where I found like why seems like a very conflicting question for a lot of people. But to me, it's almost like that's the thing to know.
Hmm.
Like, because that thing gets us to the root. And like, why
Exactly.
wouldn't we want to go to the root?
Yep.
And like, whether that's like family tree or family issue, I'm very, like, I just always want to know. Like, let's get deeper. Let's figure it out. Let's find it, and then
Yep.
hopefully we end up with a beautiful Rubik's cube of like, oh, here's how we all fit together. So
Yeah.
I love that. I feel like, wow, my same.
Yeah, right. And yeah, I think everyone should be curious. And like, I've always asked why. Like, why is this? Like, nothing makes sense to me until I can get to the root cause. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But that also allows for more compassion too when you understand
Yeah,
why people are the way they are, how they've been brought up, what they've been through.
yeah.
And yeah, that you have a lot more compassion for people and their stories and for life in general, you know?
Hmm.
So we're gonna ask some questions.
Okay, y'all need to
Right.
be asking these questions.
Dig deep.
Okay.
Which is why I like the game We're Not Really Strangers.
Oh, I love that game too.
Yeah, because it's like, yeah, just sit down and answer some questions and
Yeah,
find some things that you didn't know before, you know? Because ultimately that just strengthens your bond.
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially it makes me think about how you were just talking about you have your mom's dream journals. Because
Hmm.
while you were saying that, I was like, wow, like that's something not everybody gets.
Hmm.
Like someone's innermost thoughts. Like
Yes.
maybe they shared a dream or two in their life, but this is years worth of documented dreams and documented inner thoughts. And how rare is it that we get our moms, our grandmas, our great grandmas inner thoughts? It
Right.
feels rare, and that might just be my little bubble, but it's like, whoa, like it
Yeah.
feels like a whole portal into
Yeah,
who she
seriously.
really is as a person.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. Because like pictures only tell one story, and that is a skewed view based off of what you think you know about that person. But
Yeah.
yeah, when you have their actual written verbiage of how they're feeling, that's a completely different story.
It's a
It's like,
completely different world. Like it's
right? Yeah, like assuming someone is one way, and then once you know their inner weather, you're like,
weather. Come on.
right? I didn't know that. Now I have this extra layer about you that I didn't know because I just assumed you were like this.
Yeah.
No assumptions.
Yeah. It's so interesting.
Hmm.
Before we transition out of this part of the show, do you want to talk about the Rubik's Cube at Rainy Institute?
Yeah. Oh, Rubik's cute. Okay. So, in my quest of questioning and
Mm-hmm.
improving and being like, okay, cool, I did this little test run cube. How big can I go? What's the biggest fully functional Rubik's cube that I can get access to? Did
There you
a little
go.
bit of research, and found that there was a massive one in University of Michigan, which is only one state away from Ohio. And I was like, what a coincidence.
Okay.
Right?
Who would have knew?
Did some more research, found some videos, found out that they made the mechanical engineering students had the senior project and they made a Rubik's Cube because they loved the innovation of it. They just loved the mechanical engineering of like how it worked.
Mm.
They got the money from school. They made the Rubik's Cube, and that was in 2017. So like all of those students had graduated and they're living their lives now. And I emailed the school and I was like, "Hey, do you still have this Rubik's Cube? Wondering like what you're doing with it and blah blah blah." And they're like, "Oh yeah, we still have it, but you know, it's just here." And I'm like, "Would you be open to donating it to me so that it can go towards a great cause and like help bring brighten some kids' imaginations from my hometown?" Because I'm like, I feel like when things are bigger, they just create much more wonder. They're like, "Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
massive. That's so cool." And my inner child was like, if I was a kid, I would love a massive Rubik's cube, you know?
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, this was a year long journey of like back and forth communication, securing this Rubik's cube and figuring out the logistics. And yeah, we got it. We made sure that it worked. We made sure it was still functional, and we got it moved to Ohio. And now it is at the Rainy
Incredible.
Institute, and soon I will be putting those kids' faces on it so that it will be
Yes.
a bigger version of what I already made.
I was so blown away when I first seen this. It made so much sense. Like it was like, oh yes, of course she would find the largest functional Rubik's cube and put these babies' faces on it. In fact, that was the first thing I said when I seen the video. I was
Right?
like, oh my god, are you about to put their faces on it?
Yes, I am. Yes,
I cannot wait to see the finished product,
oh, I'm so excited. Like, yeah, it'll be awesome. The hard
girl.
part will be choosing the kids because everyone's gonna be like, "Me, me, 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 me." I'm like, I can only choose six of you.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
that's gonna be so hard.
That's gonna be so hard, but it's gonna be cool. And then it'll be like it'll because right now it is an art piece,
Hmm.
but it'll really be like my art with um, my images on it from the community that is using it, and yeah,
Yeah.
it'll just be that much more special.
Which will almost feel like a time capsule. Like
Oh,
imagine when those kids are like 20
yeah,
and they're like, "Oh yeah, these me and my 5 other classmates got to do this really cool thing."
right, which is so cool. And the thing about the Rainy Institute is a lot of those kids grow up and they put their kids through that program because they had such a wonderful
Mm.
time. So yeah, it'd be so cool.
Like imagine somebody 2 generations from now was like, "Oh my god, that's my great great grandma right there."
Yeah,
Photos taken by Da'Shaunae Marisa.
yes,
Wow.
right, yeah, well,
Like that's crazy. I can't wait for that day. And then they do their research and find you again and
right.
then you
Dang,
have another interview.
wow,
Like, oh my god.
that'll be so cool. That'll be so cool. Like
That would be
what?
so
It's like
beautiful.
leaving a lasting impact.
Okay, come on.
Right? Yeah.
A biopic.
Exactly. But yeah, stuff like that is so important to me. Like I'm children are the future to me,
Hmm.
and I'm always thinking of like what can I do for them. Like I used to teach, and I still teach in ways, but I was teaching in the first grade in kindergarten. Like my mom would tell me, "Yeah, your teacher said that you was helping other students." So I've always been like people,
Yeah.
and I want to know that the next whatever generations come after me will be okay, and that is only determined by what we do now. So if we're
Hmm.
not tailoring our actions towards them and like their future, then nothing, it'll just be shit, and I don't like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Another thing that makes me think about, it really feels like a dedication to beauty,
Hmm.
which makes me think about another project you did. I don't have the name, but it was your public art. We had this conversation
Oh yeah,
where,
you were the standard of beauty. That's what I called it.
yes, and I remember you said something like, you notice that maybe other people thought something outside of themselves was the standard of beauty, and your perspective is that you should be the standard of beauty, like no
Hmm.
matter what you look like.
Seriously.
And I completely agree, and I love that you offer that as a thought approach specifically within public art. I think that's incredibly important. But tied into family archiving, and honestly, all three of the projects we talked about today, making your family archive, whether it's this form of Rubik's Cube, the collaging, it really feels like a dedication to beauty.
Hmm.
And almost kind of teaching the people that you are photographing or memorializing, like with the flowers, that like you are the standard of beauty. And I'm just like giving little kids the opportunity to see themselves on a ginormous Rubik's Cube feels like a small little, what do you call it, like core memory to give them that like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're worthy and you're beautiful enough to be an art piece
Yes.
in your neighborhood and your community. And that is just so special and so impactful. And I'm just like, I love you so much, girl. Like what a thing to do. Like this is incredible.
I think yeah, me too.
Girl.
Yeah, that all of that ties to like not wanting and like hating the idea of being erased. Like we used to have statues of ourselves,
Right.
until our noses got and they got destroyed and shit. And that was for that time, that was their standard of beauty. Like, yes, we memorialize ourselves by putting this massive ass statue and everyone looks like that statue on the in the community,
Yeah.
and that being erased and um, we're not being represented in that way, and like what that does to you internally over time, and like the degradation of self-worth
Mhm.
can only create sad, depressed, repressed people because they don't see themselves being honored in the outside world, and they also don't know how to honor themselves on the inside. And so yeah,
Mhm.
giving people those reminders in all generations, which is why I love photography, because people are like, I'm not good at taking photographs. I'm like, stop.
Girl,
You're
I'm doing the same
beautiful. Like,
thing.
you don't need to be dressed up, you don't need to have your hair this way. How you are is beautiful and is deserving of being stamped in all of eternity.
Hello.
You
Yes. And
know?
that's why we do what we do.
Exactly. So yes. So taking another step, yes, you deserve to be on a massive ass statue. You deserve to be on a billboard. You deserve to be everywhere.
Yes.
Keep feeding that into people's subconscious, and then they're gonna get it.
Mhm.
And
Like
what's that
Beyonce
world,
said,
right?
you are the visuals. You're the
Exactly.
visuals.
Exactly. And then like what type of world will that be when every little girl, every grandma, every person is they love themselves and that they feel that deserving worthiness on
Mhm.
the inside, then whatever we create will be beautiful.
I completely agree. This feels like a perfect place to take a tiny little break. So we'll be right back.
Well, let's go.
And we're back. All right, for this part of the segment, this is actually one of my favorite parts. It's called Photographs Not Taken.
Okay.
This, for those who don't know, is based on this idea that I also eventually found in a book called Photographs Not Taken, which is why I named it that. That book is a collection of essays by photographers or other image makers about photos they never got to take,
Hmm.
wish they had taken but couldn't for whatever reason. And it's everyone's perspective on that question.
Hmm.
And that is a thing I think about a lot because I see images all the time, but there are some that stick with me. So
Okay.
I'm curious, what is a photograph you wish you would have taken?
This is a good question. I gotta look through. I gotta if there's like a loading up here that you can like cover
Hmm.
up my brain so I could be like, hmm, out of all the images I've taken, which ones did I not take?
That's fair. I can also go first if
Um,
you want to give yourself a little more
yes,
time.
go first.
So, the one on my mind right now is of my niece. I've been talking to my sister a lot about my nieces and nephews, and um so today, just getting ready for the day, this one came to mind. And it was this moment where we were in the first house that she lived in, and my sister and she still lived with us. And she was outside, probably 3 or 4 years old, and she's just like on the front porch. And one thing about my niece, this girl has always been a personality.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's super girly, she's super loud, she wants to dance, she wants to move, and has been that since she was a newborn. Like, it's one of my favorite things about her. She's also the first, well, not technically. My little sister was the first kid I ever like known from the beginning of her life, but
Mm-hmm.
I was only 8 when my little sister was born. And so when my niece was born, I was a little bit older, and I was like, wow, I am holding a life. Like, I have now known you your whole life. Like, I just had more awareness. So there was this moment that I remember sitting on the couch, and I'm just looking out the front door. We had the front door open, nice summer day, letting the breeze come in. And she's just outside, no music, dancing on the porch, just living her life. She jumping around, she's dancing, she's moving. And I'm just watching her. And it feels like one of those moments that feel like I'm in a movie, like almost like a little rom com where it's like this person is just being so themselves and they have no
Yeah.
idea they're being watched. And I think about it all the time because the grass is super green. There's a tree just like 10 feet away from her, that is just so perfect. And she's just her little tiny self being her and the most her. And I feel like if I could have had that moment on camera, I might never forget it. But hopefully, through something like this moment here, I will always have it,
Yeah.
and she'll always be in my head.
You do. You have it up here in your heart.
Right. Exactly.
Dang, don't want to disappoint you.
Oh, no disappointing at
But
all. It's impossible.
I feel like there aren't too many specific moments that I remember that I didn't capture. There was a period of time while I was first getting started in photography where I was doing a shit ton of street photography just to like
Mm,
practice and like
yeah.
be out and to try to get close to people and to like capture everyday life. And there's a lot of moments in stuff like that that I wish I took photos of just like people
Mm-hmm.
being themselves, like outside. And but there's this thing that happens to me when I'm doing street photography where I get too involved in being in the moment and looking at them, and I let that moment pass. I'm like, fuck, okay,
Yeah.
I missed it. I'm like, okay, well, next thing. And I do it again. I'm like, I keep doing this.
I swear.
It's annoying and it sucks. Or like, I let that little fear of like, oh, they're gonna say something. Even though when I don't let that happen, I get everything.
Mm,
Everything. There's an archival. No, it's not an archival. It's in my archives, like my work archives. The first book I published was called
mm-hmm.
Waiting to Arrive, and it was
Hmm.
photographs of me taking public transportation in Cleveland, and like
Oh, yes.
that was all of that of just like catching people, and that was a great run of practicing. But after that, I kind of fell off of like, and I think it's just because I let myself appreciate. I feel like I've gotten a lot better of like appreciating people and then deciding when I want to capture something and
Mm.
separating the two. And then, yeah, yeah, because that feeling sucks.
Yeah, it
And I don't like
does.
it. I don't like it at all. And I'm like, no, I missed it. And I missed
Yeah.
it. I'm like, But it would be nice to practice it again and just like go
Yeah.
out and about and like, because I feel like there's so many people from our photographer's eye. We see so much, and we
Mhm.
really like appreciate people in moments where they're like, "You want to photograph me like this?" Ooh, you know what? I do have one. Actually, I was on my way to Target. This is when I used to live on in West Hollywood off of Fairfax. And
Mhm.
I was walking up to Target, and there was this guy that was sitting down, and he just looked so sad. Like
Mm.
he was really just like looking off into the distance. And I had my camera, and I was like, he's not paying attention. And I could really just photograph him at this moment. But in that moment, I decided to ask him instead of doing it, and he said no. And I was like, that's okay.
That's the dilemma of street photography too.
Yeah,
I love street photographers. I think it's such a talent to
it
get the
is.
shot.
Yeah, it really
I
is. It
The
comes with the
original
I don't
photographers.
give a fuckness, which is great.
Yeah,
It's really nice to practice that skill.
it really is. Because when you ask, sometimes they tell you no, and
Yeah,
you just got to be okay with it. But internally, I'm like,
my heart is like,
I saw it. I saw it.
yeah. So yeah, and I remember that. I'm like, oh, you just look so.
Yeah.
But it was really beautiful at the same time,
Mhm.
and he was just like stuck there, and like there was a long time of me just looking at him like, whoa, whatever's going on in your brain right now, you are in there.
Yeah, you're in it.
Yeah,
I love it. Thank you.
yeah. Thank you.
Girl, yeah. This next segment is called The Gear Don't Matter, but I wanted to highlight some of our favorite pieces of gear. Doesn't have to be a camera.
Mhm.
And I wanted to do that because folks are always asking photographers what we're using. Um, and sometimes we get offended by that because it is less about the gear.
Mhm.
And so, a lot of photographers end up responding like, it don't matter, like, because we're not going to make the same shot no
Exactly.
matter what. But with that, we do love our gear, and there are pieces of gear that are very important to our practices. So I'm curious, what's your favorite piece of equipment?
My favorite piece of equipment at the moment is my Mamiya 6. Um, it's a 6x6 square format, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
I love square. Like, I don't
Hmm.
love square outside of photography. Like, I actually hate squares, and I would love to live in a circle reality. But
Oh,
when it comes to
interesting.
photography, I love, yeah, I love squares. And I love symmetry in a lot of ways. Um,
Mm.
and my Mamiya 6 is a rangefinder, so I can take it anywhere, and I've taken it in a lot of places, like hiking and
Oh, nice.
wherever. So it's really nice and it's light, and like I don't, my wrists are nice and healthy because they're not holding like a big bulky piece of equipment all the
The
time.
RZ67.
Yeah, makes beautiful images, but I'm like my wrist.
Yeah,
So I love that so much, and I love shooting on it as much as possible. I also love any point and shoot camera because then
I
it's
do love a point and
tiny.
shoot.
Yeah, and I can also bring that everywhere when I don't want to use 120 film. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's great. Like recently, I've been using like an Olympus. I don't know what it's called, but it's some type of Olympus, and it's been great. And it's clear and it's tiny and it fits everywhere. And I'm like, this is perfect. So those two will for sure are like my go tos. Uh,
Yeah.
on the days where I want to do something a little bit more involved, then I'll pull out my large format camera, and it's the company is called like Chamonix. It's like Chamix, something like that. Um, but it's also small and compact that I could take anywhere and that I've traveled with, and it's really easy to travel with, and I love it.
Mm.
for that reason.
That's cool.
It
Dang, I'm
is,
only finding large format cameras by
yeah.
that.
No, it is a large format camera.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yep, it's a 4x5. Uh,
Okay, copy.
and I have my very favorite, all time favorite pieces of gear are Instax backs, so that I can take
Oh, well, yes,
instant
yes, yes.
photography, but high
Yes.
quality, like will forever be my favorite thing ever.
True, same.
Yep, yep, yep. And I can't speak to any of there's a couple companies that make them, but the one that I like is from my friend who's a nerd and who made his own, and that
Ah,
is
tight.
amazing.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah,
Shout out to the builders, the printers,
the
the
nerdy
people do you
shirt.
know the nerdy girls doing the trades.
Yes,
Love y'all.
exactly. Mhm.
And our last segment is called Shoot Your Shot. Um this segment I would love to know who is somebody or a company you'd love to photograph or work for.
Mhm.
And I know, guys, that we've talked a lot about Da'Shaunae's personal projects and exhibitions that she's made,
Mhm.
but she also does other types of work. So take this however you like, but who
Okay.
is somebody you'd love to photograph?
Okay. I'm gonna give you one person because I'm a little obsessed with them at the moment. A company. That one person is FKA Twigs. I love her
Hey,
music. And I
yeah,
also know
Shiro.
she's a dancer, and I think we can make some really cool images. Be a little weird and ethereal and
Yeah,
other alien worldly stuff. Would love that to shoot that on Polaroids. Amazing. Um,
true.
and then I've worked for them before, but I would love to work with them more often. Is National Geographic and just
Oh, that would be
go
incredible.
more places and photograph more stories that are important to the people and the culture.
I
Work,
mean, we all know Nat Geo's one of them girls. She's been with us our whole lives.
right? Seriously,
Probably some of the first images we've seen to make us go,
yes,
wow, I
right,
want to be a photographer.
yes.
So Nat Geo, get back on the line. And FKA, ain't her name Talia? Talia, call Da'Shaunae, okay? Because we can see the vision. I already can see what she about to
Yes,
make. Get her
already
on the line.
you see it. It is there in my
It's
brain.
there, and it's going to be gorgeous.
It's gonna be so gorgeous. So yeah, those two for sure.
Da'Shaunae, thank you so much for today. This conversation was an absolute dream. I'm so happy.
Thank you.
Um, can you tell the people where you would like to be found?
You can find me if you want to deep dive into my work. Go on my website, Da'ShaunaeMarisa.com. You can also follow me on Instagram at Da'Shaunae Marisa, and that is DASHAUNAE Marisa with the one S, not two. I don't know why people think it's two S's, but it's I also have a YouTube channel. If you want to look at
Hey.
my YouTube under the same name, and I will be adding more videos there soon.
Oh my God, incredible. I didn't know you had a YouTube.
I did.
So, as per usual, we'll be adding all of these links that you just gave us to the show notes, the description boxes, wherever you're listening. So, they'll all be clickable so you can find and view some of this work on your own. Like, don't just watch over the screen. Or also, if you're listening, please go to these links while we're talking. And, like, if you view these images while we're talking, I mean, it's such an experience, I'm sure.
Yeah. Let me know what you think. Let me know how they.
Okay. Beautiful. You can
Thank
find
you.
Photographer Life Check on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, everywhere else you get your podcast. Please rate, subscribe, let us know how you feel about this episode, the things that you love, the things that stood out to you. And we'll see you next time, babies.
Yeah. I'll see you next
Bye.
time.